I just thought of another creepy story. This one isn't about ghosts, though. And when I get done, you probably not going to believe me. But I don't care. This happened like in the maybe the late 1900s, early 2000s, right when the internet was starting to gain traction. I was real big on conspiracy theories. So anywhere that had to do with like a conspiracy, I was there. And I would end up in certain chat rooms where people would just be talking. Again, you probably ain't gonna believe me. I don't care. So somehow, some way, I ended up in the chat room where I'm just reading a thread because in the chat room, like or in a forum or a message board, people will have messages about certain things, and you can go in and read it. It'll be archived, so you can read the conversation as it's happening. So I'm reading the conversation where this group of people was talking about they were going to start like a conspiracy. And they were doing it on purpose because they wanted to prove how easy it is to mislead people. And they was doing it for the lulz, like for a joke. It was going to be a form of entertainment for them. So they were like, they were going to make up a theory, a conspiracy theory, and see how many people they could get to believe it. Because the theory was if they got enough people to believe it, then it would take on a life of its own. And they could just sit back and enjoy the show. So they were trying to figure out, because they wanted it to be like, they wanted something outlandish, but they didn't want it too outlandish because then people wouldn't get behind it. It had to be it had to be outlandish enough with a little bit of like plausible ability where people could really get behind it and believe in it. So they had a couple things they were throwing around. They couldn't really settle on something until they decided they were going to use a theory that came from history that people used to believe back in the day. So they were going to use that and then bring it back and give it new life and see how many people they could get behind it. Even though this was something that I guess it had been debunked. You know what I mean? So I'm reading this and I'm just intrigued reading this. Like, wow, this is really interesting. Because they put a lot of thought into it. They were thinking of ways where they could have like false like little experiments and stuff. But they were like, once it take on a life of its own, people are going to come up with ways to prove that it's true. Whether it's true or not, it doesn't matter because if they get enough people that believe in it, people will come up with theories to make it true. And so they finally decided what the theory was going to be, like the conspiracy theory, what it was going to be. And when I read what they decided on, I was like, I don't think nobody's going to believe that. I don't think anybody's going to get behind it and believe it. And I was wrong. Because the conspiracy theory that they decided to put out there, that they wanted people to get behind, was that the earth was flat. And then they were going to put out that the earth was flat, and they were trying to see how many people can get behind it. And it sounded absurd way back then. But I look around now, like I said, people that believe in that theory, they're gonna think I'm lying, but it's all real, baby. Anyway, enjoy your day.